welcome you for our third video in our EntraID track series. So in this lab, you will be performing lab 2. That's about host pool session host by using Azure portal. You're actually managing it. So the first task to be increasing the number of VM, but we don't need it because just to save some cost, let us not do task 1. So straight away we'll go to task 2. But if you want, you can perform. You can create it. If you have enough credit, you can create this. That's absolutely fine. You may have to wait for another 10 to 15 minutes. So one is to save time. Another one is to save the cost. We can skip. So let's go to task 2, review and configure the host pool properties. So we are just going to review it. So you can go to your Azure virtual desktop and then select the host pool. Select the only host pool and go to the properties. Okay, let me go to Azure Virtual Desktop, host pool. And in here, if you go to properties, you will be reviewing your property here. So what exactly the point? Preferred app group type to be desktop. So you can see the preferred app group is desktop. If you want, you can change it to remote. And then the start VM on connect. So all these options you can review. We are not going to do any modification now. So on load balancing, drop down, let's select depth first and set the maximum limit to 8. So let's do modify this and the session limit to be 8. And after do modification, you have to go and click save. Let me also go through if there is any other changes. But it's only for review purpose, so we're not going to do any change. So let's say save. After doing modification, you have to click on save, then only that save gets modified. Next is on the property start on VM. We can start on VM Connect. We can click yes and save. And then on the properties page, we have to click save. Yeah, that's done. Next is we need to assign service principal of AVD with some role. So what exactly is happening here? This is little unique. So Azure Virtual Desktop itself is a service. And what this service will do, it is going to turn off and on VMs, which are part of its host pool. And if it has to turn off and on, okay, it needs to have some proper permission. So we are giving role-based access control to Azure Virtual Desktop Service itself. That's how it is implemented. So we have a Azure Virtual Desktop Service principal. And for that, we need to give this role-based access control. So which role-based access control? That is this one, desktop virtualization power on contributor. Okay, one way is that you can go through all these 4 commands, you can do it. And I prefer doing it using portal so you can get better clarity on what exactly we are doing. And let's go to subscription. And I'm giving virtual desktop service a role called desktop virtualization power on contributor at the subscription level. So what I do, I'll go to subscription, select sponsorship, access control. If it is taking quite a long time, you can repeat the same step. I hope for me it is not letting. Let's try to select once and then say access control. It's not happening. What you can do, you can go back, come to subscription, again click on subscription, access control. Sometimes you might get some delay in this particular blade getting displayed to us. So let's go on role assignment, add a role assignment. The role is this. Let's copy this. Virtualization power on contributor. Copy, come here and paste it. So you can go for both power on and off contributor also you can give. let's go with that virtual desktop power on of contributor. And to whom it should be given. It's not for the user or group. It is for service principal. Let's select that service principal, and service principal. Who is the service principal here? It's Azure Virtual Desktop's service principal. So let's search for Azure Virtual Desktop. So you get this Azure Virtual Desktop, select and select. So we are giving desktop virtualization power on off contributor role to virtual desktop service itself. And that's it. You can say review, create, and create. Next is configure schedule updates, scheduled agent updates. If you want, you can edit it. If not, it's up to you. It's an optional one, but let's go and edit it. It's in our settings. Settings section of scheduled agent updates. Let's go to there. So this is my host pool. Let's come from beginning once again. Okay, search for virtual desktop. Host pool 1. Under the settings, schedule agent update. Schedule agent update checkbox. We need to select the scheduled agent update checkbox, and then you get this particular data. And schedule section, use local. Okay, you can set your, you can check this box, use local session host name time zone. Okay. And then day, you can select Saturday. Time, you can put it as 11 p.m. and say apply. The scheduled agent update is also updated. Next task, the last task is about configure RDP property for host pool. We will be going and reviewing multiple things. And one very important thing is this, like you have to enable this one, Microsoft Entra single sign-on. It should be enabled. I hope this is done. Let's go to host pool, go to RDP property, and this must be enabled so that my user 1 and user 2 account can log in and access this virtual desktops, either session desktop or remote app application. So when you modify this, you have to click on save, then only the modification will be visible. For example, if you go back, go to RDP property, so it's changed. So what you have to do, first you have to select that you want to allow Entra user authentication, Microsoft Entra authentication for single sign-on. This is done. So here we are reviewing the options. So no modification, just review this particular options. And then this we have modified. Next also review. You have to review all these things. And one behavior we have to change, that is again in the session behavior tab, reconnection drop-down list, we have to select client automatically tries to reconnect. Reconnection, client automatically tries to reconnect, and you have to again save. So whatever modification you have to make, you are making, at the end you have to say save. So for every blade once you have to click on save. So this is very important, and then this is also very important. So when these two things are done, next we have again reviewing it. Please go through and review it by yourself. And in here, display setting tab, available option. So you can also enable this under display settings. It's only review. And this is also review. So you just can go through all of them and then you can review. But two main thing I have modified. Let me verify whether I saved it successfully. Yes, this one modification I made, session behavior. So this is also I made. Fine. So that's reflected and that's it. So that's it about your lab 2. Next, you will be performing lab 3. So that is monitor, setting up Azure Monitor for Azure Virtual Desktop. Or even you can say it's Azure Virtual Desktop Insights you're configuring using Azure Monitor. It is also a small lab. It might not take more time. So let's continue, or better, I'll create another video for this particular task.